acts of kindness make him extremely happy. So please give all the love you had to Scott Whitehair.
Keep it going for these ladies. I'm really happy to be here tonight. I don't have a story that will have to do with whoever said that their friend was fucking other bitches. But I do hope maybe that my stories will make you forget about your friend fucking other bitches. Even for a couple minutes.
Thanks for mentioning it.
When kids ask me in that coy way where they already know the answer you're going to give and they know what they want to hear, do you think Santa's going to come tomorrow? Do you think Santa's going to come next week? I hesitate. That's not because I'm I'm not that kind of asshole. That's not why I do it. It's because I remember a gym on the south side of Chicago in 1998. In '98, I was working as a puppeteer for Sadecki's Puppets out of Tarentum, Pennsylvania. And as silly as it is to say, acting out little weird plays with felt people on the end of my arm turned my life completely around. In the year before that, if it didn't come in a pint glass or in a wicker basket lined with wax paper or in a low-cut blouse, I didn't have any time for it. And I was living on my parents' couch as a college dropout. When I found Sadecki's Puppets, they put us out there, and I started to feel better. I started hanging out with better people and quit hanging out with people who were getting me into some bad shit. I quit drinking as much. I got to do something positive, and I felt great about it. And I didn't think that this could get any better until I found out from my boss only a month into working there that I was going to come to Chicago on a 2-week tour to do shows in schools and malls and anywhere they could book us. This is where this turned amazing for me. Because while some of the audiences I had were, they were okay, but they're different audiences. Like, we would do like a country club banquet, and like these kids would be like, here's a remote control car with a $50 bill taped to the top. Oh, and these guys are going to do this thing over here in the corner with, just if you want to look at some point, that's fine. We have too much money, and we had to get rid of some by bringing puppets. But on the south side of Chicago, these schools that we were doing, they were schools in some of them in depressed areas where these kids appreciated. They were looking forward to it. And as hundreds of kids loaded into these gyms, the energy that was there and everything that we did, they appreciated and they loved it. We would get letters in the following year from these kids, like the puppet show was great and this and that. And I felt so good about what I was doing because what I had grown back inside of me that I thought I lost, I felt like I was spreading. And I had the Christmas cheer for the first time in so long. I felt good about things. And these kids treated you like a rock star, not a guy who made an $8 an hour driving around in a van with a blue guy on the side. And that's what brought me to the gym that I mentioned at the beginning of this story. This was the show of shows. It was a bigger school, and to get their money's worth, they were busing in kids from other local schools. This gym had 600 kids packed into it. And they were sitting quietly, and the energy was like playing an arena as a rock band. We came out, and as we're doing the show, you do a little thing with the arm, and they were like, whoa! And instead of, a little laughter there, they'd be like, you'd have to wait for the laughter. And it was going well, and I knew this moment was coming, and I could not wait for it. Because the plot of the show we were doing at that time was Santa, there's this family that doesn't get along. And Santa comes to see them, and he gets stuck in the chimney. And there's this whole thing, how do we get him out? And his elf's trying to help. And the family eventually comes together, learns the true meaning of Christmas, and they get Santa Claus out of the chimney. And when you bring Santa Claus up from behind the puppet stage, these kids lose their mind. And I knew this audience, I was like, this is going to be an experience I'll never forget. So we're building towards it. We get to the darkest part of the play where Santa is in the chimney, and the family's not talking to each other, and from inside the chimney, Santa's like, I guess we're just going to have to cancel Christmas this year. And we're just at that point, and then the power goes off. No! And the whole gym's in darkness. And we're sitting back there, we're like, oh, shit. Santa's in the chimney. And the thing is, too, they use professional voice actors, so we were lip-syncing. There was no way to continue the show, even if they could see the puppets. And these kids who've been roaring, they're just sitting in silence. And we're like, oh, man. So the principal comes back, and she's like, hold on, we're going to check into it. I'm like, okay, fine, yeah, look into it. About 10 minutes goes by, she tells the kids to be quiet. They're all murmuring, you know, you can hear the excitement. They're still excited, they want to know what happens. She comes back in 10 minutes, she's like, we got no word. And we're like, hey, we're booked for 4 shows today. And our bosses in Western PA, who had no concept of Chicago, they'd book you. They'd go, well, you have like 15 minutes to get to the other side of Chicago. Just take 90-94. You're going to be traveling at noon. And that should give you more than enough time. So we were already behind. And we're sitting there and we're like, oh, no, we're going to have to pack up. And we've got another 10 minutes. We have to pack up this stage. And here's the thing. You might think, like, oh, it's just a puppet show. Like, the kids don't get... Here's how much kids would invest in these shows. 2 incidents that I'll never forget. The first is a kid poked his head around the back of the stage, curious, after one of our shows, and saw them hanging on hooks. And went, like, they had to corral him, and they had like a blanket around him, a hot cocoa, and he's like, and like, we had to bring him. We're like, no. We had to bring him over and show him up. We're like, no, I was just sleeping like a bat without legs. But I don't know that kid will ever be okay. And then the other one, which to me even hit me more, the emotion behind it was sometimes kids would come up after a puppet show, and this one kid in particular, he came walking up, and he's just like, and he's got tears, he's trying to, and he gets up to us, we're like, hey buddy, what's the matter? He goes, you said you did the puppet show, and the puppets did the puppet show. He was mad because we took credit for doing the show. Because we came out and bowed. He was like, the puppets did the show, and you didn't have, like, we were just the stage crew, and we're like, you're right, please don't tell anybody. We kind of right on these guys' coats, and like, we had to pull them up, and like, thanks for recognizing my, like, well, these guys did that? You know, that. But that's how they're committed. And I'll remind you again, Santa Claus is in the chimney. And where this power went out, he's done. We might get his bones out. So finally the principal comes back and she's like, we found out it's blocks and blocks. And it's not coming back on anytime soon. So we start breaking down this stage. And the kids, they don't want to send them back to the classrooms yet because it's still kind of dark. So they're just sitting there. And there's like 600 kids watching us just in silence take down the puppet stage. I know. We start loading into a van. Kids they almost line the way like some weird Viking funeral for the puppet. And we get out in our van, and as we pull away, they all have like a look like they're still smiling, like we've been entertained, kind of. They're like, what? And they're in the windows. And that was my last memory of that school, just looking back and seeing all these kids. Like at any minute we were going to pull over the van and like, oh, it was all a joke. And so that's why when my niece and nephew say, Uncle Scott, do you think Santa Claus is going to come tomorrow? I say, it's pretty likely. Thanks.